Hey guys, welcome back to the BMG Loft, and today we're going to do a review of the Darkglass Super Symmetry compressor. As bass being my primary instrument, um, bass or compression on bass can be a necessary evil, and I say that because compressors can sometimes have a, a very noticeable effect on low-end frequency stuff when you're trying to, especially even out certain bass tracks and things like that. And there's very few compressors that do it with a very transparent sound and help maintain the integrity of the original bass tone. And I've gone through a lot of compressors, and the best I've run into for bass happens to be in a pedal form, and it is the Super Symmetry from Darkglass. It's one of the only pedals I've been able to actually, I mean, really get a nice even tone when you have to dig in, and it really not sound compressed at all. You should see a shot I'm recording of the pedal itself while we mess around with it and play with it here and do some sound examples. And uh, really, I mean, the setup's pretty simple. As you can see, I'm going to actually look over myself. It's got a blend control, then it has the input, then basically a ratio control, output, and then your attack and release. And going from clockwise to or all the way over and then clockwise, it's fast to slow on both the attack and release. But the most important feature for me of this particular, besides the circuit and it doing what it does, is having the blend control is huge. Uh, in my opinion, there's no other way to really get a good sounding compression on bass uh, other than to run it in some type of parallel form, whether you do it in the DAW or whatever. But to have it on the pedal and you can actually track it that way, it's wonderful. One of the first things too I noticed about the pedal is how well crafted it is. I mean, it's just a beautiful pedal. It's really rugged, really strong, and it's got the clickless button. I love that. Just it's lots of nice touches. But again, the sound is really everything to me. So we're going to run a little bit of the best way I know to review stuff is to use it in a real world application. This is a song I've already tracked. Actually, I played everything here at my studio here, except we overdubbed the drums elsewhere. But uh, we'll do is use a real live situation of what I'm going to be using it for in the first place, rather than just isolated stuff where you can, I mean, there's lots of videos out there for that. So I'd rather make something that's practical and where it's going to be used in the real world as well, just to offer a different point of view. So we'll just run like an intro, verse, and chorus type deal, and I'll first just play it dry. We'll think, is it engaged? Yes, it is. So we'll disengage it and we'll just run this track and I'll play it without it and then we'll replay it with my particular favorite setting for what I primarily do. Okay, that was without. Now let's engage it with my particular setting that I like, that I use the most. And just listen to, especially when I dig into some of the lower notes, it just it keeps it much more linear, and the tone really stays the same. It's really just a fantastic compressor. So let's run the same thing. And as you can hear, it's just a much more even sound, and the tone really stayed true to what it was before the compression, the compression, but it just sounded more even. And that's what I love about this pedal. So even like here, I'll turn the blend all the way up, and I'll even hit it a little bit harder. And you'll just, I mean, just sitting here, you can just tell in the tone. It really doesn't sound compressed. And I'm hitting it a good bit. So, when you can really have time to just mess with it and tweak with it and really find that setting you like, it's just there. It works. It's great. And I mean, we can tighten up the release, spank it a little bit more, and tighten up the attack as well a little bit. And I'll pull little mids out here, put a little more snap in it and bottom, and it makes a great slap. It does a good job at catching those transients, smoothing it right out, and giving that nice pop. But again, you don't really hear the squash and the squeeze that much. That I mean, sometimes that has its place, but more often than not, I mean, you want to have something that can really control it tight and not sound like it's overworking. And that's a problem you run into a lot with bass compressors. And with this, it's really not overworking. So, um, highly recommend checking it out if you've been looking for a compressor, been frustrated, just not happy with it. Maybe sucking the life out of the low end. I really, really recommend you guys check this out. So yeah, I give it 5 stars, and hopefully you can check one out soon. And until next time, guys, keep it grooving.